So all looking good. I'll get in my welding gear and we'll do some welding. Yeah, okay, that wasn't me. That was the kid from next door, Archie, in his Star Wars outfit. But he looked the part, didn't he? And he's a pretty good welder. Hey guys, I've picked up these longer shocks. They're just basic Hagons, but they are decent quality and they'll do nicely. They're 420mm eye to eye length. So let me go through what I've got in mind here for this rear end. The tank needs to sit up in about the position I've got shown there. It sits on two of these rubber mounts that bolt through the frame like that in there. I've got to make up a little bracket that raises that up around about 30mm. Then I'm going to weld a flat across the frame here like that. The seat hoop will have a flat across the front of that with a tab sticking off that will sit on that flat across the frame, and I'll have 2 or maybe 4 bolts there holding that in place. There's going to be some short struts that go from about here. There'll be a member going across here. The struts will go down to another member which I'm going to have across there. That's going to be roughly like that. So the struts will go into there and these will have bolts welded in the ends there that pick up the shocks at the top of the shocks. I'll need to make some extra gussets that go around here and incorporate these existing gussets here, I think. Now, BMW, in all their wisdom, this is the lower shock mount on the left side here. In all their wisdom, they have this whole shock absorber cranked across to the left about 12mm further than on the right side. I think the idea is to get enough clearance in here for wheel removal. You know, if you're on the side of the road, you want to get the wheel off quickly. That also translates into the subframe. The original subframe, you can see one shock is hard up against the tube and the other one is offset by that 12mm roughly. So it's all asymmetrical. I didn't like that. I want the shocks to sit perfectly symmetrical here. I don't want this side sticking out further than the other side. I have seen guys just crank it over slightly. That just doesn't rest easy with me. So what I've done is I made this today. It's a little lower mount that's offset by the right mount, and that's going to sit right here, and that'll bring that shock back over just by the right amount. So before I decided to go ahead and move this shock back that way by 12mm, I carefully checked that I could get the wheel off, because this does encroach a little bit on the brake caliper and the carrier and getting the wheel in and out, but I can do it. I'm very confident it's not going to be an issue. At worst I might have to take this bolt out to get the wheel out, but that's no big deal. This is no longer a world-class touring machine that you could ride across Australia on. It's going to be a cafe racer for shit kicking around town, or maybe going for a track day with the historics occasionally. What I'm doing here is I'm adding on a bit of length to the head of these bolts, a la like that. welding that on. They're going to slip into there. This is the cross member that picks up the shocks on these bolts. I'm going to drill some holes around here and spot weld, do some decent deep spot welds. I've got a tube inside a tube here, so this is extra thick and extra strong. This is going to take the shocks, it's going to be a gusset, and there's also going to be the struts up to the seat on here. So this will need to be quite strong. It's probably overkill, but hey, it's better than having a shock come off at 160 k's an hour. That wasn't fun, but I think it might have worked. One hole's a bit bigger than the other. That cutter is absolutely munted. It was munted before I even started, but I needed that exact size. I think it's got one tooth left on it. Yep, which is why it was dragging the spindle around so much. But job done, I think. So my little gussets here, I'm going to cut that across there. I'm going to weld these in like that, and probably cut that across there like that, and this guy goes in across like that. Now I'm just going to remove some paint in this area and up here where I'm going to put the flat across for the seat mount. I've got this gasket, CRC gasket stripper. It is nasty shit, but it works great in getting bloody paint off. So here we go. Shit. I'm still filming. But nearly went horribly wrong. You can see what a good job this does. It just comes away brilliantly. Piece of cake. I've got this set up now, ready for welding. I've got those gussets tacked in there. Got this bar just sitting in here. Got the shocks on. This guy's in place, ready to be welded. This is about where I'm going to cut that gusset there. Pretty happy with that. Here's the current status, guys. The rear mount is in place. Front mounts are done. I haven't welded this guy in place yet. I want to get the struts sorted out to the seat. But otherwise she's looking good. Trim these off. I've made a front mount for the tank, so that goes in through there, bolts through there. There'll be some rubber grommets like that going in place there, so that lifts the tank up higher. Got to weld a flat across here and get that seat on. So it's looking good. A current overview of the bike. I've got that crappy exhaust pipe on just to mock it up. Looking pretty good. Looks quite good from this angle here. Need to get that seat on, clip-ons on, rear sets, exhaust, lots to do.